line. BDD plays some beautiful team fights until the very end where he's completely denied any access into the final one, and Zenit makes probably one of the biggest blunders of LCK 2019. So many different drama stories rolled into one, and we found a second here as we move into game number 2. SKT will put on some blue shorts and ban away the Yasuo.
But finally, a match that has lived up to the hype, a match that is a rivalry and more than just name. This has definitely been highlight game number 1, and we wonder what sort of a game number 2 can back it up. Game number 1 bans on the blue side by KT, Ezreal, Thresh, and Kai'Sa were the bans. The Ezreal ban will continue, so KT feeling like they have to ban it on both sides. We'll see if Zenit will actually consider flexing one of those non-AD carries, because remember, as we talked about in the pregame, his AD carry win rate didn't get any better, and his non-AD carry win rate has been the kind of small uptick in performances so far this season from Zenit.
And by far, Vladimir has been his best performing champion as well. 3 out of the 4 games he's played, he's picked up the wins on. So denying that from Zenit is a huge deal, and Zoe's going to be banned on the blue side, which is extremely curious to me because Faker being very vocal about how good his Zoe is, and SKT have banned it on both sides of the map so far.
Lissandra.
Oh, Teddy. That's a lot of respect, my friend.
Lissandra might be considered here by SKT when it comes to the Zoe ban. Seeing what the choice is, I'm between Lissandra and Urgot here, and I think Urgot's the right call. It's something reliable, even though Khan, of course, had a shocker of a laning phase.
Oh, he learned how to hit an ultimate by the end, though, and
He
now
did.
He's got his eye in.
Took a couple of shots, so you would hope the level has gone up, and now there's no Vladimir to be flexed to the top side against it.
Have to shout out that it's still a flex pick as well. Faker played the most Urgot so far this season, but hasn't been seen in the mid lane for quite a while.
Very obvious answer just to pick up, because it's potentially a bot laner, but they decide to just throw that out the window, and they're going straight with a Sivir power pick on the red side. Wouldn't have necessarily assumed this, but they want Zenit to return to it. And like we said, the VOD review was, please don't do that again. And
yeah.
Otherwise,
and it's an easy VOD review as well. And he knows, all right, maybe I won't be within 500 range of the turret and 2 of the baddies on the other team.
And he had some really big moments, right? The team fight where he was able to 1v3 delay the game.
Yeah.
When it seemed like things would just completely snowball away from KT. Should be complimented.
And his earlier Sivir performances have been fantastic as well. It's just a comfort pick for him. So I do like it. 12 seconds to go before Faker locks in a champion here for SKT, and they've gone back to the Galio. Could still be a flex into the mid lane, but Marta playing it did look good, and they can go with Kalista here if they'd like to repeat that laning phase, because it was a good one. As Braum, nope, not going to happen. Oh, that's some funny business there from Faker, as Kalista is taken, and that could very well be your bottom lane.
It would be a really weird spot to go for a first round Galio mid, so I appreciate just sticking with the Galio support, or at least the heavy suggestion of that. Also, the flash of Braum could be, hey, Braum's open, do you want it first round, and potentially losing out on a jungle pick for Umti. He's going to be taking the Jarvan. Will the Lee Sin be banned this time? As that has really dominated Clid's champion pool. After you go down from Lee Sin and Jarvan, you get into Olaf and Elise territory for SKT.
And you have to remember as well that a lot of the bans were thrown towards the support role last time around, and now KT probably have an idea that that Galio will be heading towards that support position, and you can see they've decided to adjust their bans for that reason. Mid lane is going to be where they're targeting now, getting rid of some more blind pickable mid laners like the LeBlanc.
See who is receiving 5th pick on the side of KT. You would assume BDD. That was definitely the hype we wanted of the mid lane matchup. Getting overall last pick. Nocturne going to be banned away from Clid, so if he wants something like the Elise to put the pedal to the metal in the early game, will be left available.
I'm excited that Jarvan's locked in so early here on KT with Smeb on the top side of the map as well, because he does love picking up the champion when the times suit him. Maybe not necessarily into an Urgot, but it is always a flex that you have to be respectful of. So KT, without picking the Jarvan directly into the jungle position, gives them a few more options, especially on the red side as 2 support bans come in. Thresh the last one for SKT.
They got to reveal something now, and we'll see if KT Rolster do leave mid lane for counter pick. It's a heavy expectation. Alistair support would confirm that theory.
Yep, locked in, and that means that, yeah, the flexibility of the Victor that could be heading towards mid or bottom lane, or, well, not bottom lane because Sivir's there, or the mid lane. So theoretically, BDD or Smeb could be picking up this last pick.
Action on SKT. They have a full team fight Wombo draft, and they will take Lee Sin, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That part makes sense. What's the final pick here? What's the blind pick mid lane? Lissandra is the most obvious one.
Oh man, and this is the SKT special as well,
Yeah.
Papa Smithy, with a Galio
I know.
on top of it.
They found Galio, Lissandra, and Urgot.
It's ridiculous. How do you have so many of your tools?
In Kesper Cup, this would have been very confusing.
I know, but now it just looks like the SKT recipe for success.
So Zoe's gone, and that's the good matchup into Lissandra, a lot of people know. What's left open is the question to KT.
Oh, there's a lot
This
of
is
good
bold.
ultimates.
And this, we'll see where it's going. Into Urgot, of course, a very big possibility here. Unsure on the lane assignment. We've seen Faker, of course, on Sylas already. First thought is Victor wave clearing with Cleanse in the mid lane, and we see the Cleanse opted into. Smeb definitely had a pickup performance, but how much of that was Khan being off on his first two Urgot ultimates, and then the first one snowballing, the second one snowballing into a better than expected laning phase for the Vladimir? Feels like we might actually get to answer that question in game number 2.
And look at all the funny business going on here. Of course, Sylas and Victor going to be flexed between one another, so we won't know until 20 seconds. And right now, Marta has Lissandra, and that's not going to happen as Faker does pick that one up. As there is the swap. So KT, they're actually going to fool them as well. SKT trying to go for it, but no one was fooled. Come on, Lissandra was always going to Faker. And the Sylas is going into the mid lane, much like Chovy put it there. We'll see whether it is going to be the Aftershock Sylas, which we saw be much more successful than the Grass variant or even the Comet variant that we saw from Noguri, who had a difficult time in the laning phase due to that.
Yeah, definitely had a Swain-like performance. You could go Cleanse and then Rod of Ages, Spirit Visage to try to ape what we saw, the good work in series number 1 from Chovy. SKT with a very, very SKT draft. I never skip a chance to be excited about Teddy on the Kalista, a very good player on this, and he doesn't have that pesky Vladimir to have to respect on the enemy team. This should be a lot more front to back of a team fight comp for him to fight against. Smeb is going to be on the Victor after all, but we are still in the spot where we are skeptical of Sylas lock-ins. Can BDD make us a believer after being a bit down following being oh so consequential for the overall defeat of KT in game number 1?
Yeah, we'll see whether he can pick himself back up again. You saw when he sat back down still with a lot of emotion in his face. BDD still very young, but still so seasoned. A veteran here as we move into game number 2. KT faithful may not be as many as the SKT fans, but still very loud. Getting behind their squad. I'm just excited to see what our BDD is going to do because we've got our 4th unique keystone here in the LCK, Electrocute.
And this is the cool part. BDD.
Yeah, you get one at the start.
Exactly. Picked up the Kalista passive and used it on Snowflower for later relevance.
So we can walk up to Teddy and steal that one away, and that means that he will be able to pull in Snowflower. I was wondering who he was going to go for because I personally probably would have put it on Djarvan just to pull Umpty out of there, but
it's a fun thing to mention
happening.
because we never get to see that because not having your passive in the laning phase is Kalista sucks, right?
Yeah.
You need it for the passive on the W. However, if you could put it on your jungler or rebind it trivially, you probably would, right? So actually an interesting one, but Alistar is the sort of champ where always loved Kalista in the meta because kind of sucks in lane without Kalista and then goes straight over the top with Fate's Call, allowing him the first knock-up. So he's so strong that I think I don't mind it after all.
There we go, the Abscond to come through here, and we've seen a lot of Sylases at the moment taking the E first, just because you get the Abscond and the Abduct, and so you get 2 rows of your passive level 1, which has been working out quite nicely. Colossal Smash from Marta to help push this lane from SKT, and already it's looking a little bit scary.
Pretty high value ult stealing game like you were mentioning before, Atlas.
It feels like a good Sylas game to play.
There's no stinkers here, especially with Alistar getting full value out of Fate's Call. Everyone can be situationally used. BDD himself wants to evolve into a side laner. The Electrocute's interesting. We already touched on that, how many different keystones we've seen on the Sylas.
Means Domination Trick if you opted in for, and you've mentioned that earlier on with the Hail of Blades coming in from Teddy. You can get yourself a lot more sustain as well. And he does like to build into the Spirit Visage relatively early, especially in the mid lane.
Kind of umming and ahhing because it's a melee champion to ranged matchup in both lanes, wherever this game goes in terms of the 1-3-1. So actually being able to take advantage is kind of different to a Kalista that obviously had a lot more free reign to do that. Callista going, you would assume same runes as bot lane.
Yeah, Snowflower just getting a bit bopped. Winds of War are going to come through. It's going to be fine, though, for Snowflower, who can eat through some of his potions that he already has. Umti going to come over with a very low health bar.
Level 3.
And his double buffs is cleared. Doesn't want to tank this one up for too long, wants to keep the advantage for himself, but this is going to use the smite. Umti's going to get himself out of there.
The health lead
right,
and the fact that you can just smite that can to get level 3. Klid's actually stopping the back here.
Yeah, Umti in trouble as Smeb. He's going to move on over here, and now Klid might be in trouble. Death Ray comes in, doesn't get the stick into the back of the head, so Umti's just going to go back home.
Well, the stare down was won by SKT, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Lissandra left lane. It takes BDD a while, even with his passive procs, to push in with the long cooldowns early. So it ends up being an escort to deny a camp from Umti.
Now you can see Umti actually just wastes a whole bunch of time. Going to be going back relatively late, and that will mean that Klid can catch up in the farm, stealing away. That Krug camp is valuable on so many different levels.
And I want to say something that I'm sure will definitely rub some people the wrong way. That feels like a 2019 Faker move to back up his jungle all the way to the enemy Krugs. Remember, this is an interview. There was an interview with Klid where he talked about how he would need Faker and his team to back up some of his aggressive moves. Faker comes all the way in, backs him up in a way that Blank could perhaps claim he didn't get quite the same treatment last season. It's an old wound, but it's a reminder that it's a new SKT, and that allows them to really extend the lead in the jungle over Umti.
Not to mention the fact that Faker now has a pretty huge lead in the mid lane as well. I mean, BDD has been bullied just a little bit on this Sylas so far. He's shoving this wave forward as Umti wants to steal away this Raptor camp.
He does ruin it, but that's the most he can do and gets a better back timing for the mid lane. No information on BDD's build just yet. Wants to get the most power he can possibly get for 700 gold, double Dark Seal. Yep. Will the Dank Seals lead into a Rod of Ages? Again, that's your first interpretation, but there's still no agreement on Sylas. We almost never get 2 games of the same damn Keystone.
Yeah,
let alone
exactly.
anything else. We've seen 3 or 4 Keystones already.
Yeah, we've seen 4 actually, of course, because Grasp was the first one, top side of the map, as well as the comment that came in from Noggery, and then Aftershock coming through.
What about Summoner Airy, baby? Let's throw that in there.
Yeah, may as well.
Morelnomicon, Summoner Airy.
Footwork, let's go.
Think of the mobility.
I know. Triumph procs, man. There we go. If you can get a reset ultimate, you could almost see it happening just so you can dip into Triumph. Katarina. Oh man, solo queue Sylas is just so silly with some of the options that you get. As Snowflower going to go for a bit of a ride, but he's not going to make it all the way back to the base.
Do remember, Katarina ult wouldn't reset because it doesn't have the Katarina passive.
Ah, that's true. How very sad.
But we're watching mid lane here. Faker not going to take the Glacial Path. As Lissandra ult already available for BD, full health, so no 2v2 kills there. Umti has been pretty pressured in this game, but not to any meaningful experience or camp lead. Klid wanting to get first access to the Scuttle, and definitely not trivial for there to be Scuttle control on the side of SKT. You would argue they have first exit from both Lissandra and Urgot, so probably going to be something that at least is tipping towards SKT, but they're getting the backup, control ward down, a bit of extra mana, and trying to extend the lead in the jungle and get that level 6 onto Klid.
Yeah, it certainly is a powerful moment here for SKT, and you can see it's already represented in the gold just a little bit about the gold level of the kill. And I've seen this story before, Papa, as Flag and Drag has to be used from Umti to get himself out of there, and this is not his rubber band camp on the top side of the map. The Krugs belong to Klid, no matter which side that they're on.
And the rubber band comment there, of course, a favorite analysis point of LS is very important. They knew the exact respawn and that no other camp is up. So go to Krugs, you're going to find Jarvan, and you're really feeling both lanes backing you up and your level lead over Umti.
Yeah, now vision available for KT, bottom side of the map, so it looks like this will be a blue. They can be safely delivered over to BDD, but SKT will know that bottom side of the map is where the camps are and where Umti wants to be going. So he's been pretty much tracked throughout this entire jungle, this whole way from SKT.
And this is the SKT we get excited about, the SKT that we think can beat or challenge anyone in the LCK on their day. When they play the early game and Klid starts hunting, and you can see that he sniffs the enemy jungle and knows where he is, everything falls into place from that early game, that organized early game that when they have priority they can find. So good to see them once again being on the front foot. Mid-lane.
Ultimate's going to be thrown out here from BDD. Faker still keeps his as Klid finds the Q onto Umti. That was actually pretty blind heading into the brush there.
Clid, let's mention that Umti's level 4 at 7 minutes 50 is topside.
Yeah, Chaos Storm going to fly forward here onto Khan as he's still holding on to the ultimate, wants to actually land this one. Oh, the flash from Smeb gets him out of the way. He's got a ward in this brush, gets the movement speed from the Q, but Khan able to get his way out and move towards having Purge off cooldown, where Smeb won't be able to go overly aggressive.
About 270 health, but no second evolve means no actual kill pressure without the evolved Ray as well. Clid's going to use this invitation as level 6 already to take down the Ocean Drake. Umti is still level 4, Atlas.
Yep, and that's no flash from Khan as well, topside, so Umti couldn't go for a gank. That's going to be red buff going over to the Jarvan in trade for the Dragon on the bottom side, and SKT are taking more and more this game.
This is definitely a just complete domination of the jungle matchup, because you know what's happened here, Atlas? After he went to the rubber band Krug camp, Umti's scared to start camps without backup. He's like, I don't know if Umti's going to be here. If Clid's going to be here and contest me, so he's being even slow about his future respawns, and that means that just the questions that have been posed of Umti is slowing down his mojo. No questions about mojo on Clid, and now an Ocean Drake for free is one of the results.
And it feels like game 2, Clid's performed the download, you know, he knows what Umti's going to do. He's inside his head, and I actually wasn't expecting the jungle matchup to be the really big problem here as far as where those downloads were going to happen, because we know momentum in best of threes like this, especially in a telecom war where so many people are watching and so many people are getting excited for both of these teams. No KT meme required. It is very strange that it's not BDD that's having a really difficult time because of how disappointed he was at the very end of game number 1, or Smeb after having a fantastic Vladimir and then not getting the win, or especially Zenit because he's the one that made the biggest mistake. They're not the problems. It's all going wrong in the jungle.
I think that spills over into the next point, which is SKT. They got the Callisto versus Sivir. We know already that is an earlier spiking, a 1-item power spike. Black Cleaver, Warrior Enchant's already done compared to the late Cinderhulk, because no point buying Warrior Enchant on Jarvan from behind. That means that SKT are ready to fight for objectives. They're going to be more strong in ganks, and the scaling is still back-ended for the side of KT, even if it's not dual scaling threats. No Vladimir on this time on the side of KT.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Warrior Enchant means that Clid, if he finds Umti anywhere, Umti has to run for the hills. There is no way that he's using that flag and drag aggressively ever.
And he also knows Smeb has no flash and is looking for any chance to find a kick. Umti's top side. They should know this, though. We'll give him the respawn timer.
Yep, of course, as Umti does park himself in position. Chaos Storm's in there. Cataclysm going to be dodged with the flash, but that is still flash on cooldown for Khan. Spellbook will help him out with that one, but is certainly still a good thing here for KT.
You needed something. That's the first kind of good moment at 10 minutes in game number 1. No pivotal gold lead just yet, and that means they feel a bit more bold to contest for something like the Rift Herald spawns at 10 minutes, of course. You would love to solo that down and get some more plates. And SKT might actually have to invest their duo lane to get it.
Well, speaking of getting plates, already 2 down in the mid lane, 1 down on top side. That's 4 plates already.
This is an SKT move. It's why last game they went for the mid-game combo. Look, they made some mistakes and, of course, needed that throw from KT to guarantee the victory. But SKT love playing 1-2 item drafts, taking Rift Herald pre-14 minutes, taking turret plates, and winning before scaling, or a Sivir just as a champion comes online. They want to get Victor into a long lane just like he was a Jace. And Urgot appreciates the backup of Clid.
Yeah, Clid comes in and very aggressively places Shelly down. Barta going to move on up as Hero's Entrance is available. And he's going to throw it in, immediately coming down. Smeb, not a lot of options right here. As Faker's going to invest the ult because they know there's just no response. Shelly moving on through, and they've just got more people here. Snowflower wanting to find the flank, and can KT actually get underneath this turret is the question. As the face check comes through, Snowflower does try to set this one up. Will get the trample proc as BDD flashes to get the ultimate and will grab the first kill for KT onto the Callisto, and Zenit already takes a whole bunch of turret plates on the bottom side of the map. In the meantime, though, Shelly gets to work, getting rid of this inner turret topside.
And again, you need to remember one important fact, because it looks like KT got the answering kill, and you say, oh, solo turret plates on a Sivir, that's big. Remember, Sivir doesn't have a 1 or 2 item power spike that puts her on the level of what's put together on SKT's side. So obviously it never feels great that Sivir's getting more gold than expected in the early game, but if you fight at the right moment, get a Baron, get the neutrals going, it may never matter that Zenit picked up relatively a lot more gold than you'd expect 12 minutes in as Sivir.
Yep. And BDD gets his back stopped, which is very frustrating. Snowflower knows that there's vision around there now. As Marta parks himself here in the mid lane. We'll have that hero's entrance back off cooldown, but let's have a look at this play once again.
I love how Faker plays this, because remember, they're going to get the turret at minimum, so what do you use? Well, if you're guaranteed to kill, you just min-max every pixel CC, and I think Smeb, old man, hobbles away on the Victor and understands he's dead one way or the other. This was a nice move. Teddy, I'm not sure if he's skilled W at this point. Remember, he had it pretty late in the previous game. Face checks and dies.
And they get his flash and his heal out of it as well. And I feel like heal was probably unnecessary, but he still uses it. Still goes down. Zenit, with all of those plates that he picked up, does get his Infinity Edge, as well as there being a Proto Belt on BDD as his first item. Man, so that's the question answered for you, Papa. You're asking whether or not it's going to be a Rod of Ages. It's not. It's a Proto Belt. This guy's going in.
All I can tell you is that both these teams cashed up at the last holiday. All the parents were handing out envelopes of money because there's so many turret plates down this game with multiple turrets dead already. 3 turrets down pre-14 and multiple plates elsewhere. I think we're talking about something like 18 plates taken in this game already, maybe even more. So these teams are both got a lot more cashed up. That suits SKT because they have the earlier advantage at 1-2 items. So anything that gets them closer to 1-2 items, they gleefully accept.
Yeah, so it was 5-2-1, I believe, on SKT's side, whereas it was 5-1-0. So SKT with the plate lead, as now we're trying to find a fight on the bottom side of the map. Snowflower wanting to get this trample in there. Is most likely going to do so, and it lands onto Khan. Snowflower grabs that kill as well. Kick back onto Zenit, but he's going to survive for the moment as Faker gets his ultimate stolen away. He's going to be used against SKT here as well. There's the flash forward. Huge pulverizing headbutt back there from Snowflower. He dies, but he's done his job, and Marta's going to get traded. KT are team fighting beautifully today.
Khan went in too early, and they're able to answer them where they stand. Do KT, I believe that was Fate's call actually used on the Alistair, was watching the fight, trying to track everything.
Okay, yeah.
That's how he got that extra gap close as far as I could tell. Trying to interrupt, the Glacial Path doesn't find it. SKT bold, but too bold. KT kill them where they stand.
Absolutely. Really nicely done here from KT. Zenit able to get out, even able to pick up a couple of minion waves afterwards as well, so that will be a Zeal most likely. And let's have a look at this one again.
Okay, so it wasn't Fate's call. We start with the Urgot ult, as far as I know. We'll watch the replay here. I'm still getting used to tracking all the craziness, the current patch. Ult misses from BDD, and watching the play was just a flash to toggle it all. But the fact that Urgot goes so early means he's cut off. They take him down with not really a lot of health taken on the side of KT, and then the re-engage happens here. Flash Pulve is all it is. The Fate's Call used, but it's the Fate's Call on the side of SKT.
Yeah.
So it's not about the Silas this fight like we might say in a future fight, just about SKT being too bold and answered where they stand.
Man. It's getting exciting though. A lot of these team fights, the Frozen Thralls unable to quite do enough as it was only 1 kill on the side of SKT, but in a choke point like that, you have to start imagining what could have been in that team fight had Faker and Clid been able to lock down maybe 1 extra target, and then Teddy bounces around. There are icicle explosions everywhere, and the Ren sets mean that there is nothing doing on the side of KT.
I mean, you look at what they do right now before, say, something like Hurricane comes in. They kill 1 person really reliably. Sandra ult into Ren damage, into Urgot, and even Lee Sin joining in for the party. They have a lot of single target damage, but when they stagger their entrance into a turret dive, you don't get the maximum value out of it, and KT able to turn that run around in pretty impressive fashion. Means no gold lead to speak of between the two, and to KT's credit, even after there being a couple of bloopers from Zenit and BDD in game number 1, and a great play on the interrupt on that Glacial Path by Clid. They're holding their heads together so far, even though the map is just in disarray this early.
Well, Q's going to land here from Clid as Teddy makes his way over. Clid not going to go in on any Sonic Waves. Lee Syndrome not there. This guy's the cleanest Lee Sin ever. He's not going to have that issue, so not going to dive into 3 people. All right, Teddy gets his ult stolen, so now we're going to have a cow delivery service. It's going to work out pretty well here for KT as well.
List to ult is an interesting one, because of course, if Silas is in 1-3-1, does literally nothing.
Yeah.
And he has Cleanse, not Teleport, so for now, basically doesn't have an ultimate. Kind of like a Predator jungle with no boots. So we watch the map state right now. Smeb happy to wave clear. Both the Victor and the Sivir with their line wave clear are insanely good at catching waves, and that's all that's going to have to happen at this present point in the game. Only a single Hex Core upgrade as well, coming in for the victor. So for at least now, watching on in a defensive position are KT Rolster and kind of waiting for SKT to find the scene of the crime, which might have to be the Mountain Drake spawning in the next minute.
Yep, another Q, but it's not going to land this time. As Tempest, pretty cute, just jumps up there onto Zenit, but he's going to be A-OK. Overshield still in place, as Marta's just manning this rotationary spot, looking for that Mountain Drake, and like you say, 40 seconds time. Blue buff going to come in here first, as Silas going to make his way over, and the Q not going to land there from Clid, who puts down a ward and realizes he can't see anything. So control vision available there, as Umti might need to just take this for himself, and he does so. BDD still holding on to that Fate's Call, and find it interesting, because I feel like if you're going to take the Fate's Call and you're going to put it onto the Alistar, it means you're going to make more aggressive plays as both the Alistar and the Silas, right? Because now you've got way more different ways to get that headbutt Pulve in exactly the position you want. You put it onto Umti, you've just got more defensive option to try and bring him out after he's put someone in a Cataclysm. So odd that now KT are playing very far back, not trying to get forward vision, and SKT this game will have a monopoly on the Drakes. Mountain Drake looks to be something that KT's not interested in.
I mean, KT can't face check very well if you consider where the game is at right now. Snowflower has no flash, so doesn't really want to walk in and find an awkward spot. But when it comes to face checking, it's only Umti, and he's still not really feeling in the strongest spot. He's actually been able to catch up in CS really, really well, as Clid has been focused on playmaking, but walking up and contesting Lissandra and all the pick power of SKT, it's not smart for KT, so they will give up. That Drake there, not happy that it's a mountain. Timing out is that BDD ult, you'll notice.
Yeah, Circle of Frost is going to be there as the Frozen Tomb lands onto Umti. They are going to be able to get this Jarvan, but can they get more is the question. BDD ducting his way out is going to be okay for the moment. That is a free kill under the jungler, and just a really nice teleport play coming in from SKT.
Just no other map objective for KT to start. Smeb's TP down. There should not be two people overextended there. So a straight up mistake by Umti and BDD for being so far up. And a 20-minute Baron started. Smite is there. It will be available soon, and we know about the Rend. KT needs to get a ward on it fast.
Mountain Drake available here as well for SKT, but is this even going to get turned off? Because they can make this a 50-50 very effectively as Zenit trying to throw in these ricochets. The Baron does go down, but can KT actually find the fight? BDD trying to find his way in. Cow is going to go down, and SKT will just get out. KT floundering around the Baron.
Exactly, because the jungler dies, and we already mentioned Smeb doesn't have TP. SKT with double secure, Smite coming up, and the Rend confirmed. Just take down a Baron and catch KT napping and blow open the game after what has been a pretty even first 20 minutes.
Yeah, that last team fight looked really great from KT Rolster, but this play into the next, and it's just not a lot of options here. It's just too much lockdown. Faker just wanders next to the J4, and Khan's there for backup, meaning that Silas can't offer anything, and Faker even waiting a little bit longer to get the rest of his team into position around this Baron. Really nicely played.
The lust for turrets has really cost KT. In this series, going to have to be a bigger VOD review point. Clearly, we watched the replay, pretty straightforward. They've got Rend. The Smite is coming up right at the end there. So they get the Baron, finding a meaningful lead for the first time this game is SKT, and it's as their items are at that 2-item or better point where right now, things are really together when it comes to the early itemization. Gonna steal that Kalista ult again. No flash on Snowflower, so want to find a way for him to hit the backline.
Yep, well, he should be able to get in there as he's going to be wandering around where BDD is. Rift Scuttler going to go down as we get this full zoom, and Khan not going to get routed this time. Not playing overly aggressively. Faker pushing the third lane.
Yeah, they can't do anything to answer. They got double side lane AP wave clearers against the Baron buffs. So the Baron buff has insane value here. Of course, at 20 minutes, the stats aren't big, but the Baron buff effect on the minions is insane. They're looking for the catch on Umti.
Yeah, he is going to dive on forward, but no, immediately taken down extraordinarily low into the stopwatch. Should be okay for the moment, but Zenit finishes him off. Now the Fate's Call is BDD. Dives on forward, trying to get the abscond down. There's the double knock-up as Snowflower survives for so damn long. And SKT are taken down. Teddy able to get out. Khan as well. But that's 3 dead on SKT's side.
The clean Lee Sin usually gets away with it, but this time his hand in the cookie jar is slapped away, and the Fate's Call steal looks pretty damn inspired. as they get the extra 2 kills. This is at least going to cut down on the Baron buff power play. You notice top of your screen, that gold lead's not going to extend. Goes down to 1,200 for SKT. They're not going to be able to play side lanes as well, so this bails out KT. Feels like a government bailout, mostly from Clid.
Yeah, really nicely done. And Umti actually catching onto Clid and doing a bit of extra damage there despite not getting the knock-up was really beautiful. And Zenit flashes at the right time. Is Clid getting predictable is the question, because even after everything goes wrong, he gets a stunning kick to knock out Zenit and get the knock-up, but BDD comes in the nick of time. And Khan lands the ultimate this time, but on a full health target, he's going to be fine.
But you just see how good Alistair is with Fate's Call and how he couldn't be in that position. 2 people would have gotten out, and it would have been a 1-for-1. We said, oh, shame on you, Clid. Oopsie. This is way more serious. They get the extra 2 kills. Get some gold back in the game, and Sivir's got some kills, a 500 bounty to match the farm bounty that Teddy has put together. That's a pretty good sign. Pretty good sign that Sivir is getting closer and closer, inching towards that second Zeal item and some relevance in the game.
Yep, has himself some more defense here as well, as Zenit already had the spell shield available to him, but now has the Quicksilver Sash, so he can get out of the way of a lot of things, as Faker's ultimate is going to be a big one. Headbutt Pulve lands onto Marta. They want to try and get him away from this one as he uses the Fate's Call. Gets back around though. Kick back onto Umti. He's in trouble, and there's no way for KT to respond, so that is just a free pick off onto the jungler of KT Rolster.
So misread on the map position there. No one to play around Umti. No flash, no chance. He goes down. They're looking for a flank. Hex flash over the wall.
Yeah, BDD does have a kickback opportunity as, yeah, they're just going to get a free one onto the Galio. It's backwards and forwards here, but top side of the map, Khan is saying, well, you can kill my support as many times as you want. I'm going to take down your base, and he does so. He
gets the inhibitor turret. Will not be able to finish off the inhibitor just yet as Mountain Drake spawns, and of course, this is all about that early game priority, getting SKT first run of the map. Snowflower walks up, but with a pretty big degree of risk.
Yep, Claw comes in, Faker slows down Snowflower. It's a kickback still onto BDD, does use it, throws it into the Callista, but she is going to be okay. You need to lock her down, and it's not happening this time. Fear Beyond Death cuts him up into mincemeat. The Alistair not going to be helping this fight for much longer as KT now trying to get out, and SKT should get a second Mountain Drake.
That sort of pick power SKT have. Too bold, an overextension from Snowflower. He gets turned on and taken where he stands. The Drake was free, but why not a kill? With some ASDA prime beef while they add the Mountain Drake to it. SKT a double Mountain now, I believe, and that means the Baron threat's even higher, Atlas.
Yeah, I know. 40 seconds to go until that Baron is back up again, but let's have a look at this fight one more time. It's chaos almost everywhere, and Umti wants to get this pick up onto Clid, but then Faker zones 3 people.
Who's picking who? It's like he was caught picking his nose, basically, on the top side there. It's caught by SKT having more numbers than KT. Unable to back him up, and then Snowflower says, I would like to know about the Mountain Drake, but you just don't have the map control from the early parts of this game to make that work, and it's the sort of draft that SKT loves to play. This priority draft's a nice priority. Take him down. Fear Beyond Death does the rest, and they get 2 exit kills and the Mountain Drake we spoke about.
Yeah, KT so close to actually finding a fight in a position that they wanted to, because Umti almost got back through. Looks like BDD is going for a Lichbane as item number 3, so continuing on this aggressive stance, and him and Faker could not be closer in the scoreline at this point in time. Excited to see whether the Silas building a lot more damage is going to be more or less relevant as we get to the later stages of the game. I have a feeling that more damage equals better. Not entirely sure as Khan. Okay, he's going to be put in the baby cage. Gets put away very quickly, but that's a flash now on cooldown on the Ogre.
No baby rage to join the baby cage there. Yeah, just going to be the cage and the flash, so a summoner is going to be the price. Do notice that BDD is level 15, so soon we'll have that very short ultimate cooldown. As you know what else is going to be short? The Life of Baron.
Yep. Life of Baron is not going to be around for very long. As Marta, Hero's Entrance is now available here for BDD. Umti can dive on forward. We will be able to get a knock-up as Clid flashes over, flashes out again as Umti trying to get in there. Faker with the ultimate down should guarantee this one as Khan gets the kill onto the cow. Baron goes down. SKT, have some cake, eat it too, have some more, as this is a disgusting battle in favor of SKT. We're looking towards a 2-0 Telecom war as KT just fall apart.
You're still living in SKT's world at 27 minutes. No Sivir is going to be enough for this game. She stands up. Nice spell shield from Zenit.
Really nice, but he doesn't have another one. He does have a QSS though, so he will be able to get out of the way as Faker has to use his Zhonya's to stop the turret from killing him. Doesn't die fast enough as there's the back, and Clid is going to stop it. Bottom side of the map as Kingslayer actually helping out there as this battle is continuing picture in picture. Zenit not going to survive for much longer though, and Marta, he's not going to die to the turret either. This battle is ridiculously long as BDD versus Clid seems to be the story, and Clid says, I had your number game 1, I got it game 2.
Seems like Clid's just destined to be a match winner. They're trying to stop the end.
Yeah, going to go golden. Snowflower underneath the turret, but doesn't have a lot of damage, can't get rid of minions. And Teddy wants to get rid of lives on the side of KT. Smeb comes in, he can help kill some of these minions.
And they do stop the game from ending at the 28-minute mark, but has the damage been done? Your first thought is yes. 5,000 gold Baron buff. Power play will be confirmed by this turret going down. They already have 4 Drakes as well. The 20-minute Baron has done so much work for KT Rolster, and it was all about that greed for an outer top lane turret that got the enemy smite off the board.
Yep, and BDD, once again, going to be fighting against Clid and losing. Oh, I just wanted to see this hero's entrance work out, but Snowflower gets routed. Can't get himself into the pit.
What I want to draw your attention to is that gets in the pit. If you watch this smite battle, he gets into the pit after all.
Oh,
you don't think he's going to,
early.
but he gets in there. He smites as he's being disengaged. A good kick there. Baron at 400 health, but of course that was after the early smite. So he does get in the pit, which you could argue that's what the hero's entrance was for. Ends up being void. It was a bad scenario, as we could tell. The cleanup doesn't quite end the game, but it feels like it does, all but.
Yes. Well, KT now looking to try and hold onto their base. They keep their top inhibitor alive, and bottom lane inhibitor turret is still there. So it's not all destroyed at this point, only one lane of super creeps to contend with, which shouldn't be an issue for double Zeal item Infinity Edge Sivir. She's building towards Immortal Reminder relatively soon, gonna have that one on board. As SKT try and close the door on this game, but first, on this inhibitor top side.
Being respectful so far, there's the Fate's Call. Snowfall has Flash as well, so a lot of shenanigans can happen, but do they have the damage behind it, even with Sivir pretty damn fine?
Yep. So Snowflower looking for his opportunity, SKT just probably not wanting to stack on top of each other because they know that elsewhere the damage is being done. There's the headbutt pulp to land onto Clid, flashes forward, there from Umti, he's down to his Guardian Angel, and the kickback is on Snowflower with an ultimate, but Faker dives into the backline. Zenit, does he have enough? The spell shields are going to be utilized. Massive knock-up with the Fate's Call, the Pulverize to land on top, and Zenit is still alive. It's a triple for Faker, though, as Marta wants to find more. Smeb's going to go down. Is that the Penta? No, it's stolen from Marta, as Faker will be the man to finish off SKT and 2-0 the Telecom war.
A Faker quadra kill to close the Telecom war. SKT, damn do they have to fight for it, but 30 minutes in, 2-0. The scoreline does not do it fully justice. An awesome series, a fun one, tipsy-turvy, up and down, but SKT exit 2-0.
Yep, in the end it was the SKT special that we got in the draft, and then the SKT special in the Faker carry in the last team fight. We've had a season where we've been watching Teddy, but of course, it comes to the Telecom war, and Faker is the man that gets it done in the clutch at the very end. And just a beautiful way to end it. Some hugs coming in, Smeb to Marta, of course. Former teammates, Zenit also getting a hug after what was a very difficult game 1, but played his heart out in game number 2. A lot of his spell shields were beautiful. His QSS also fantastic, but a well-deserved bow here from SKT. And I just want to say thank you to this squad for giving us such a beautiful series for the Telecom war when it could have been a lot more fast and dirty. This was definitely dirty, but it wasn't fast.
And we did our best to ground expectations, but also nod to the fact that the Telecom war, many more times than not, has delivered as a series. Yes, there has been some errors along the way, but this was a fun one where SKT were definitely too good. It does feel like the reverse of last year. Shoe on the other foot, SKT a contender, KT a pretender. But it's kind of a heroic loss for KT overall. But the frustration is, if this was week 2, KT are like, wow, okay, maybe we're close to something. But it's the last game of the first round robin as they condemn themselves to joining Gen G at 2-7. And now the question is too little too late because there's signs of life. There is a heartbeat from KT Rolster, but I think that heartbeat is just relevance. It is definitely not candidacy for top 5.
Exactly, and now Afrika needs to join them, and we've got all of our world's representatives sitting on 2-7 for the first round robin. It's about as opposite as what we were thinking, unless Jin Air was ahead of all of these guys. And Afrika don't exactly have an easy one in their final match. As I believe, is it Sandbox,
yep.
Papa Smithy? Yes, it is. So a really tough one here for our world's representatives for the LCK, but it does show that it is all about the new blood here in the LCK. And even though this was one hell of a telecom war, it's not what we had in our last season. It's definitely not the result that we would have expected had this been 2018.
But the insane thing is, if we pick up the pieces of what Sandbox beating Afrika means, now an expected result, that means that the expected result right at the end of the first round robin is that between Gen G, Afrika, and KT, the 3 teams that went to Worlds, they have 6 best-of-3 wins across 3 damn World squads.
Yeah.
That's the expected result. Opposite season, opposite year, new blood rising, whatever narrative you want to throw at it, insane stuff happening, and yet, that is the expected result now.
Yeah, it is now. Certainly wasn't at the beginning of the year, especially not with how strong a lot of these squads looked on paper. Peanut moving to Gen G. We weren't expecting to be a cataclysmic failure, but honestly, you can't say much less than that after 2-7 to start off this first round robin, but it is the first round robin, and these teams do need to mesh together. It's understandable that Griffin is towards the top of the table. It's understandable that Damwon is towards the top of the table. These are squads that have been playing together for a long time, and to a lesser degree, Sandbox there as well, even though Summit's moved on over. He's melded in pretty damn well if you've seen his play for that squad. But to bring it back to the Telecom war, this is SKT versus KT, the El Clasico, and it delivered.
Telecom War was a fun one to watch. I don't think SKT will be particularly enthused by the overall level of play, but they were the better squad on the day. This turret dive was a definite big problem because it's a turret dive where your Kallista's strong and she really can't auto too much because it's under a turret in weird scenarios where they don't have vision.
Yeah.
Kind of conspired to give KT a lifeline into the game. But from there, Clid, who had a really good early game, you'll remember, was in his only mistake. This was kind of his only mistake of a pretty flawless 2 games after he was the, no doubt, consensus MVP of game number 1. KT fought back again and again, but eventually 2 Barons proved too many for the side of KT Rolster, and Khan had a much better performance game 2. To be fair, hard to be worse than game number 1.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we made the joke of he got his eye in, but he certainly did get his eye in. A lot of those ultimates actually landing this time around, but I think the story largely was Faker taking control on the Lissandra. Even in teamfights that they lost, he was able to get exactly what he needed done, and this is another example of Khan having a good performance, and that hero's entrance being used on just him was not what you wanted as a KT fan, and this is where it all fell apart.
But I appreciate how visually busy Silas teamfights are, where even just ults, you're like, wait, whose was that again? Well, looking at the numbers here, I'm very skeptical those are the real numbers.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're wrong.
Yeah, I think they might be wrong.
There was more
this
damage
might be a
done
team fight. One of the team fights,
yeah,
maybe?
this is wrong.
Imagine if the game went for 30 minutes and your Lissandra, who got a quadra kill at the end, did 5,500 damage.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's a whoopsie. That is a whoopsie.
Even Victor in one team fight did 5,000 damage. Probably the one that we just watched.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Don't worry about that one, guys. It's a bit of sleight of hand there. We're trying to keep you honest. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
We know who the true attentive viewers are at home.
Yeah, we know because, you would have been you would have just taken that as face value and just written a Reddit response about it.
So
like, how did they do so little
whose
damage?
Whose MVP is it this time? Is it Faker's this time?
I think Faker probably
Clid
gets
also
it this time
going to be up there.
He got another solo kill onto a mid laner. He seems to be writing their names in his death note more times than not. As Faker picks it up, quadra kill is going to get him over the line, and his Lissandra engages. His Lissandra control certainly did look good.
I thought he had a really good game, so I think it's fine that Faker picks him up. The roam up top lane where he just threaded all those spells onto Smeb. And then from there, just hit the map well. He was the playmaking Lissandra we know he could be. Took down the enemy team, and guess what? It's the mathematical equation that everyone in Casper Cup knew. If you add Lissandra plus Urgot plus Galio.
plus Lee Sin, who was also part of that equation.
Yeah.
The only thing missing was the Ezreal, but that was banned.
Teddy's Callista.
Teddy was going to get a free win if it was the Ezreal, and we wouldn't have got the Telecom that we wanted, the Telecom war that we wanted. So we are going to have an interview. We're going to be able to have a chat to Clid and to Faker. So let's throw it over to G-Sun for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Season with today's interview translation. And we're going to be joined by Clid and Faker from SK Telecom, celebrating their victory for the last match of first round robin. Well, since the last series, I think I'm underperforming, but I think it's getting better, so I'm feeling happy about it. You think you're underperforming? Well, game 2, I made mistakes, and also in the first set, yeah, I was overall just not performing as clean as I should. What about you, Faker? How do you feel right now? So we ended the first round with 2-0 victory, but yeah, our performance was not that clean, so yeah, we're gonna keep works going. The Clid, you were listening itself. Why did you lock in listen today? Well, we need AD damage, and also it is one of the champions that I'm confident with. Why do you think they did not, the KT Rolster did not ban listen? I guess it's not really that worth a ban card. I mean, it wasn't a bad decision from KT Rolster. And Faker, you played Zillion. It is kind of back in the meta, so why were you playing Zillion today? Clid kind of like Zillion. He always tell me to play it. So I just wanted to kind of show what I got to my for my teammates who have faith in me. Then why did you go with Glacier Augment? Well, if I use it with the active items, you know, you get the Glacier Augments going on, so I think it's really funny. That's why. So for fun, that's very interesting. And game 1, you were playing really well around the bot lane, so let's check out this highlight. The level 2 dive over here. Did you plan that beforehand? Well, I did plan, and also I see a really good angle coming, so yeah, I just pulled that off. But later on, actually, Khan was having a hard time in the top lane, so how did you kind of plan to solve the problem or the situation? Well, I just thought that if you just keep our pace going and also concentrate a little bit more, yeah, that's how we won the game. And that highlight, you solo killed Lissandra, chasing her in the end. She was trying some flank, but who was the one that noticed that Lissandra is trying to TP in the backline? Well, I think we all captured her during the using her TP. And let's move on to game 2. Sylas popped out, and actually you were the first one who played Sylas in mid lane. So how was playing against the Electrocute Sylas? I was a little bit afraid when I saw the rune, but I think I played quite well, so I'm satisfied. And Quadra kill in the end. Let's check out this highlight. So what was going on over here? Well, at first, Clid, actually his Guardian Angel popped out, but I don't know. We were just fighting, and we somehow won the game. Clid, you were very aggressive over there. Were you trying to like die for your teammates? Well, I just wanted to be a little bit more confident to kind of make KT Rolster player to be afraid of us. And Clid, I heard the Faker kind of pops out a lot in your streams, and you said Clid is really cute. I mean, the way he looks, you know, he looks like a pet. He's really cute. And the way he acts, I think it's really kind of cute. Clid, whoa. How do you like Faker keep coming to your stream and your streaming room? I'm really thankful, you know. I'm satisfied.
네, 앞으로도 자주
I hope
찾아오시면
you go
좋겠습니다.
see Clid a little bit more.
여기 팬분들 많이 기다리실
A lot of fans will be looking
거니까
forward to
이제
seeing them more
2라운드가
often.
시작이 됩니다.
And second
그래서
round robin is
어떻게
around the
준비하실
corner. How are you
생각인지
guys gonna
크리드
prepare?
약간 아직 조금의 시간이 남았는데
We
지금보다
still have some
깔끔한
time left,
경기력으로
so
좀 보여드리기
I want to
위해서
make sure to come
노력하겠습니다.
back with cleaner
네,
performance.
감사합니다. 페이커 선수는 2라운드 어떻게
And
준비하셨어요?
Faker, what about you?
2라운드 때는 저희가 1라운드 때 그리핀이랑
Well, second round?
샌드박스한테 줬는데 이번 2라운드 때는 꼭 이기도록
Well, we
하겠습니다.
lost against
네, 감사합니다.
Sandbox and Griffins, so I just don't want that to happen again in the second round robin.
정말 많은 분들 좋아하실 것 같다고 하셨어요. 뭐 코칭 스태프 분들, 사무국
And
분들.
last time.
한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
And lastly, is there a
사실
message
좀
for your
무대형으로 이기긴 했는데
members in your office,
네,
SK
좋은
Telecom,
경기력으로
because it's a Telecom war?
좀 이겼으면은
Well,
좋았을
it
것 같은데
was
그거는
a
조금
2-0
아쉬운 것
victory,
같고,
but our
그리고
performance was
오늘
not
승리를
perfect or
따내서
clean, so
좀
I'm a
다행입니다.
little bit sad, but
네, 자꾸 두
well,
분이
it is a relief
안쓰러워하신다고
that
해서
we got
마음이
the
조금
victory.
그래요. 팬 여러분들 힘내시라고 큰 박수 한번 부탁드립니다.
Please give a warm round of applause for SK Telecom
네,
players.
앞으로도 더 좋은 경기력 기대하겠고요.
And we'll be
오늘
looking
인터뷰
forward to seeing you
감사드립니다.
guys back with better performance next
네,
time.
클리드 선수, 페이커 선수 만나봤습니다.
This will be the end of the interview with Clid and Faker from SK Telecom.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun, for the translation of that adorable interview. Faker and Clid, always cute together. If you've been watching the streams, you'd certainly know.
Best friends forever, and that probably suits SKT fans, especially if the Lee Sin is left open. He'll lock it in every time and make you a believer that he's the cleanest Lee Sin around. SKT are done for the first round robin. They'll be back later in the week. Sandbox have the opportunity to make this some steps when it comes to third through first. Could be 7, 8, and 9 wins, which I believe we've never had before. Those steps at the top.
Yeah.
Down the bottom, KT and Genji confirmed to have 2 and 7 as their final scoreline. Genji's game score a little bit worse, some more 2-0 losses on the side of Genji. We'll see how Sandbox versus Afrika goes. That's the second match you and I will be bringing tomorrow. And before that, Jin Air, they want to stop going winless in a round robin. They're going to have an uphill battle against a Kingzone team that are flattered to deceive, but are definitely around the middle of the pack.
And we also may actually get towards a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially, by the end of the
But no
first
one.
round robin. We're not going to get a 1. I don't know. That's assuming that Jin Air falls to Kingzone. So, yeah, we're just not quite expecting Jin Air to find too much. They're going to do the opposite Griffin. That's the way they're going to get there. And it's looking like sad times. I like how LS thinks about it, because he thinks about it as being that mirrored effect. You know, this is like, you need it for equality in the league. If Griffin's going to be so strong, you need a Jin Air. So Jin Air is sort of doing, you know, he's just proving physics works, you know.
You know, I feel like almost every series kind of rests in the shadow of Griffin, though. Like, even this series, like, it's not like Griffin's like, oh no, SKT. They're probably saying, SKT made a lot of mistakes, and we don't make many mistakes, so we're still confident. So hard to say what Griffin make of this series, but SKT can only try to improve the second round robin. If they beat Griffin and Sandbox, who knows what the possibility is for an eventual grand final.
Exactly right, and we're going to see from Sandbox tomorrow. But for tonight, that is all from us. See you tomorrow.